they hear or see the police helicopter. So even though they might pull back and officers have a really difficult decisions to make whether or not to pull back and let them go. But here's a situation, Stu, where this driver is driving so dangerously, it almost doesn't matter. I think this driver would be driving dangerous regardless of whether police decided to pull back or pursue this vehicle.
Well, Bob, we've just been watching this one, and by no means am I a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm just a guy in a helicopter and watching a pursuit right now. And you're right, though. When there was just the helicopter above this person, they were driving very, very recklessly. There was no doubt about it. When they were on the freeways, extremely high speeds, cutting across all lanes. And then we've watched them a lot of the time here on these streets before that black and white got behind that vehicle. So yes, definitely the law enforcement there, law enforcement not there, it doesn't seem to make a difference to this driver. A lot of times, I've said it in the past, just basically running from their own demons at this point, but it is also very dangerous for anybody that's down there. We haven't seen them run a red light yet, which is really, really good. Those are the worst. Whenever we see these suspects running red lights, I'm always so afraid that somebody's just going to be driving along and then just get broadsided or have this person appear in front of them. That's the worst. But that being said, we've watched him drive on sidewalks, drive off the roadways, push other vehicles out of the way, basically not making contact, but just being aggressive. And then, of course, those lane changes and driving on the wrong side of the road. So a lot of dangerous driving out here. And all four, there must be something more to this because Upland PD saying it was just some sort of minor infraction. Maybe a taillight not working or some kind of something along those lines is why they pulled this vehicle over. And then they just basically left, and it was a high-speed pursuit.
So right now in the Downey-Norwalk area, still on Alondra Boulevard, just a moment ago crossed over Lakewood, so main intersection there. Speeds in the 30s, not too bad, but we've seen those speeds go well beyond 90 miles per hour on and off freeways. Many near misses. At this point, I don't think anybody has been injured, which is always what we want. 2006 Pontiac is what this was called in at, Stu.
Well, it's funny because we got that Pontiac story as well. We got that from our desk. You know what? I'm just going to call it like I see it. It could be. Maybe it's one of those G6s or G8s, but it looks more like a Honda to me, just from the angle. So this is going to be one of those ones later on in social media. People are probably going to be hitting me up saying, geez, Stu, you can't tell the difference between a Honda and a Pontiac. Well, to me, it's just a black car, black sedan down there. So we'll keep an eye on it, but we heard both descriptions. We heard Honda earlier, later on, and then we also heard that Pontiac car weaving in and out, went against traffic right there, now kind of just behind that work truck. I'm just letting you know that there's two helicopters, actually three helicopters. We're up here as well, but law enforcement, that is, the real ones. There's going to be a California Highway Patrol and a sheriff's helicopter here keeping an eye on it. You can see right now a little showboating, the passenger out of the window with their cell phone. Maybe this kind of makes you think that they're in a neighborhood that they know. It looked like they were basically getting some video or something with their cell phone.
I was injured in an accident when I least expected it. I was disabled. I was in a lot of pain. And honestly, I just didn't know what to do.
At the Dominguez firm, we know that after a serious injury, the
The black and whites and by the airship, and they continue to...
Chrysler with a similar plate to 8 Henry Union Norris 771, 23103 northbound 5 north of the 91. For dark gray Chrysler, the similar plate to 8 Henry Union Norris 771, tailgating in and out of lanes. Time is 1 to go, WPPD 852, WPPC 737, clear 1258. 23103 north on 5 from Red Hill on a white Mercedes CLA 380, plate of 8 Paul King Robert 756, clear on a 2020 Mercedes at a 410 and the vehicle is at high speeds and driving on the right shoulder. W541 for 1250.
Out there as well. And you also have to think, if this car makes a maneuver like that, somebody else might hit the brakes.
8519, do you need an additional unit to assist you out there with those vehicles?
We cannot stress that enough. Now, the helicopters above are still tracking it, and Angela, my pilot, the pilot,
Street from Temple, ballpark.
this afternoon,
700
just
Mass
kind of
Call
said that we've been in this neighborhood before, so we're basically, this driver coming back around, and that might be part of it. They basically were, maybe letting somebody know and pulled out that cell phone. That sheriff's unit, that's kind of a tracking mode. I don't know if the sheriff's department or the
UN 207 Mary, call box check. Eastbound 210 needs to San Dimas, call box 458 with an open line. Eastbound 210 needs to San Dimas.
Right now.
But definitely in the area, and we've said this in the past, when this thing comes to a stop,
207 Mary, copy.
just because we don't see these officers around here,
Just in a bad spot, but it's all static. 857, are you able to 10-5 for?
making themselves available in these neighborhoods so that when it does come to a stop, that
On a 1998 Toyota Camry,
Okay, so we're still remaining in the
it is registered to Charitable Adult Rights and
I was injured in
Services
an accident when I
out of
least
San
expected
Diego,
it.
California.
I was disabled. I was in a lot of pain.
And the title was issued in April of 2020, and it says it's active, but it doesn't give a red date.
Was that Riverside?
Trevor.
Actually, RCHP.
Number 4 lane northbound, just south of ECR. And that's from the Involved party called in and said that they did not need medics.
Not seen them come out. Units, what's going on under there?
125. We're heading northbound 605.
How many guys are now orange towards the yellow at 25?
I missed them. Okay, yeah, I got them again. They're north 605 from Rosecrans. And SRC, your earlier question, yeah, as soon as we get a pattern on this guy, then we'll coordinate getting those spike strips down. But so far, he's just kind of been all over the place. So we haven't really been able to establish a pattern. But he's north 605. He's holding the number 3 lane, coming into the 105. Speeds are about 65 to 70 miles an hour in the number 4 lane. Traffic here is light, but guys, you're going to be coming into some heavy traffic in just a second. So use caution here. Air 7, we're over to the number 1. Now we're going to slide over to the 2, the 3, and now the 4, and now onto the shoulder as we approach Firestone Boulevard. Air 7, and he's northbound 605 shoulder, sliding all the way over to, I think he's on a transition road right here to exit at Firestone, I believe. We'll give you the direction here once he commits. Air 7. He's not going to be getting off at Firestone. He's going to stay on the north 605. He's in a transition lane now. Now back over to the right shoulder at about 65 to 70. Traffic here is heavy. And he's going to slide all the way over to the far right transition on-ramp lane from, I believe that was Firestone, I think. And now back over to the shoulder. And okay, units, give them some more space here, guys. Give them some more space. We'll get you direction here. Just give them some space. And we're north now. Looks like he's going to be on the 5 transition. He's in the number 1 lane of the 5 transition road. We'll give you direction once he commits. And here's 7. A lot of movement in that passenger compartment, right front passenger, a lot of movement. Okay, he's moving over to the number 2 lane, and he's on about 35 or so in the number 2. Traffic's still heavy, and we're going to continue northbound on this transition. I believe this is going to be to the, it'll be to the 5. I just haven't committed to a direction here. Okay, it looks like it might be south 5 from the north 605. Here, south 5.
Copy.
Copy.
Units again for the watch commander, surveillance mode only, surveillance mode only.
Got code 20 on this, so give these guys plenty of room, okay? Plenty of room. Code 20's overhead. and we're committed to the South 5, and he's still on the transition road. We'll get you, as soon as he slides over, we'll let you know if he's going to try to exit again or not. Air 7.
And we're notifying CHP to take over if he remains on the freeway for the watch commander.
Copy that. And looks like he's starting to move to the left a little. He's in the three lane, I believe, and he's still southbound on the 5. He's about 55 to 60 or so. Traffic here is moderate. Still holding the number 4, Air 7. To make that the number 3 lane. No, he's in the 4 lane. I'm sorry. He's in the number 4 lane. South 5. We'll be coming up to Pioneer here in just a moment. Looks like he might be exiting at Pioneer. Air 7. And SRC, can you bring up Norwalk, please, just for code 5?
And it's a Friday. It is wide open. The northbound lane is very, very slow to go. Looks like we're going to be getting off the freeway here at Imperial. But the northbound lanes were packed. The southbound lane's wide open. Don't know why he's choosing to get off the.
And he's going to be away westbound on Imperial from the 5 through a stale green at Pioneer. And looks like he's holding the number 2 lane.
Teen crisis, some of the freeways just open roads so that the driver could drive 90 plus miles per hour. And interesting on surface streets, fewer cars on the surface streets, so they can leave just a bit more. Good thing is that during this hour, normally we would have kids that were in school, or perhaps kids that were going to be picked up here shortly, so we don't have the schools now
if I can stay on 14, that'll save me, otherwise I'm going to have to take my eyes off this guy. He is westbound on Imperial, coming up to Firestone, holding the number 2 lane. Speeds are about 45 to 50. Traffic here is moderate, and we're going to be now through Orange Day. Air 7.
That driver. Again, we are just armchair generals here, just kind of watching along.
And do you still need CHP to respond, or should we cancel him at this time since he exited the freeway?
This person continues.
I think they'll respond to this on the surface streets. Try them, but I don't think they're going to respond. We're coming back out to the 605 here in just a second. He's over to the number 1 lane. Speeds are about 55 to 60 or so, maybe a little bit slower. Traffic here is moderate, and he's going to be hitting some heavier traffic here in just a moment. Air 7.
That seems to be the plan right now. Is it a good plan? Well, you know what? In the end, we always see.
He's going to be slowing with traffic, and he's still westbound on Imperial. 605 will be his next intersection. He's not done anything erratic here to get around this traffic. He's got some raised intermediates here, so it looks like he's going to stay in the number 1 lane. Air 7. Just squeezed by a car to get into the left turn pocket, which would put him southbound onto Hoxie, southbound on Hoxie. He did make the turn onto Hoxie, and looks like he's going to go for the freeway again. That'll be the north 605. So SRC, yeah, if you can get a hold of CHP and see if they would take over for us. North 605 from the Hoxie on-ramp. He's on the transition road. Speeds are about, he's slowing here, 35 to 40. And now he's back over to the right shoulder, and northbound. About 55 to 60 now on the right shoulder. 605 from Hoxie, Air 7.
CHP is 914, I copy northbound 605 at Hoxie. Again, all units, surveillance mode only. Do not get involved. And Arrow for the watch commander. Any luck on the wall?
This is what we were talking about. Lots of traffic out there.
We actually did hear from CHP. Sounds like it's failure to yield at this point. Air 7.
Copy, failure. Field units 1022, all involvement for field units 1022, all involvement.
605 from Firestone.
Sarcy, you want us to continue broadcasting until you get CHP, or you want us to 1022 it?
CHP has it, sir, and they're getting their airship involved at this time. Let me just confirm one more time.
All the
Their ground units, actually CHP's ground units, were told to 1022. If we need them to get involved, we have to call them back, confirm you want them to get involved at this time.
83S1, can you advise if you would like
nobody behind him
to
now. He's still
stay with the
passing on the
pursuit?
shoulder, cutting cars off, in and out of traffic. So, yeah.
We'll 1022. We were just trying to get in a position to assist with the spike strip.
83S1, copy to 1022.
He's going to be getting off the freeway or not.
2 copies. 98.
Exit lane from the North 605 at Florence. He's got some heavy traffic ahead of him, so we'll give you a direction here. See what he's.
Before, if I have, that's a negative. No, just one call only, and then nothing on the north side.
Their units involved in it as well. And if they decide to
8672 for a traffic break for FSC.
with any updated information, but apparently their airship is following them as well.
Turn around up there now.
We're just trying to back up on the off-ramp at Florence. Now he's hemmed in by several trucks and some traffic behind him. Okay, we're still waiting for. We're still on a. I'm sorry. We're still on a stale red. Once we get the green, we'll give you a direction. Confirm the watch commander wants us to continue broadcasting for officer safety.
Kennedy still standing by, or the 98.
And looks like we're set up for northbound. Yeah, he's going to be northbound on, I believe this is going to be Studebaker, approaching Florence. Air 7.
10 for an SEC.
Okay, route to the medic place.
They will not get involved. And
Sorry, did I read the queue?
agency with Upland PD wanted for a vehicle violation only. Vehicle violation, they do want you to continue broadcasting for officer safety. However, no units are to get involved at this time.
Turned into oncoming traffic, got around it, and now he's going to be away westbound on Florence from Studebaker. He's back under the 605. Speeds are about 55 to 60, light traffic. And
Fighter 3, a northbound 57 from Yorba Linda on a silver Honda Accord, unknown plate, cutting the RP off. WQF motor at 611.
And where did that happen?
Ready to go.
If there's a unit that can maybe try to recover that weapon, and SRC per the watch commander, does that...
It does not look like we have that information. And 83, King 3, go ahead.
Ma'am, I just heard over the SO scanner that they tossed out a weapon. It looks like the passenger may be armed. Just be cautious.
I have multiple units on the air. 862 confirm the passenger possibly has a weapon.
Westbound, number 1 lane, speeds are about 50...
Hey, it appears the passenger may be armed.
83C, copy the passenger possibly armed.
Next major will be Lakewood Boulevard, Air 7. Air 7, he just crossed Lakewood. He's on a fresh green. He's going to be sliding over to the number 2 lane. Speeds are still about 55 to 60 miles an hour. Traffic here is moderate, and we're coming up to Brookshire. Number 2 lane, Air 7.
83S20, go ahead.
Unit to 927C for the possible 417.
Chose 97 at the riverbed and Florence where the possible weapon was found.
83S20, copy your 97 at the riverbed at Florence where the weapon was possibly thrown.
We're still westbound on Florence. We're coming up to Downey Avenue. He's sliding all the way over to correction, the number 3.
All 390.
And he's going to go straight across and continue westbound.
790.
Sliding over to the number 2. Speeds are about 45 to 50. Moderate traffic. Air 7. he's over to the gutter lane, and he's going to turn northbound now onto Paramount from Florence. Speeds are down about 45 to 50 or so. Traffic here is light, and he's holding the number 1 lane. Air 7. The left turn pocket here at Lubec, and he's going to be westbound on Lubec from Paramount, and he's coming into a T intersection with some traffic ahead of him. Guys, back off him, give him some room.
Now he was trying to figure out what he was doing in
by some traffic. Oh, that was close. And southbound on Tweedy Lane from Lubec. Air 7.
And Downey's 914 and per
81 Paul 1 LA.
Copy that. And southbound Tweedy Lane coming back to Florence. And another T intersection, so we'll give you a direction here in just a second.
And where is he supposed to be lying down at?
He's going to make another right turn and pull into the number 1 lane of westbound Florence from Tweedy Lane.
Overall says it's southbound 55 at Dyer, and the male is laying on the right shoulder.
And again, 1020 to any involvement. Officer broadcast only.
650 Adam, if you can respond for a 20,002 that occurred northbound 605 just south of the 5. RP will be standing by on the right shoulder in a burgundy Lexus RS 350.
We're approaching Old River School Road, pulling over the number 2 lane, and holding the number 2 at about 35 to
3, you'll be in route to 2002, you get 10.2 Adam from 605 in Imperial.
83 Robert 3, copy, you'll be en route from the 605 in Imperial. And 650 Adam, you can turn 25.
Old River School Road, looks like he's going to go through it and continue westbound on Florence.
Show me 10-8, and show me en route to tomorrow to tow for AI follow-up.
81-20-10-4, do you happen to know their address?
Air 7.
135 George 1, any update on that 927C for the 417?
1022, I can find it.
The debris down here now.
10-4 units on the CHP unit 927 seeing the debris at that location.
17, looks like Email Road or Avenue, through that, and continuing westbound will be coming up to Garfield here in a couple of intersections.
207 Mary, copy of the call box is clear.
Holding the number 2 lane, Air 7. 7, he is number 1 lane at Garfield. Okay, he's going to bust traffic to go southbound Garfield from Florence. So he just busted through a bunch of traffic to get around them, and now he's southbound on Garfield from Florence. Speeds are about 35 to 40 miles an hour. There's no traffic here. Coming up to, looks like Clara Street. Air 7.
Happy southbound Garfield from Florence coming up to Clara. 35 to 40 miles an hour, no traffic.
Actually, I'm sorry, from the number 3 lane, he just made a westbound turn, a left turn from the number 3 lane to go eastbound. I think I said westbound, but he's eastbound on Clara. Speeds are about 40, 45. No traffic here, and we'll be coming out to, I think it's going to be Email again. Air 7.
It's a cruiser for River's clear, and then I have another 1125 Sand Canyon onto northbound 5.
Made a southbound turn on Email.
For Sand Canyon onto northbound 5, a toolbox.
Intersection, we'll give you direction here in a second. He looks like he's committed to, I think that's going to be northbound on Scout. And that'll take him back out to Florence. Air 7.
Happy northbound Scout to Florence.
still on Scout and coming back out to Florence on a stale red. Four-way intersection. We'll give you a direction here. Looks like he's going to bust the red and go eastbound on Florence from Scout. Air 7.
Eastbound Florence from Scout.
Scout truck 611, test call only, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 611, testing only.
Red. We'll give you a direction here. We're at the intersection, and on a stale red, he's going to turn northbound Old River School Road from Florence. And he's down to about 25 to 30 miles an hour. And he's going to go now eastbound. First Street is Dinsdale, I believe that is. I'm sorry, yeah, Dinsdale. That's going to turn into northbound Door Lane. And guys, give him some room. Guys, back off, slow it up, and give him some room.
Patrol vehicle.
And we're northbound Door Lane. We're going to be coming out to Lubec again. And he's going to be westbound on, eastbound on Lubec from Door Lane. Air 7.
Eastbound Lubec from Door Lane.
It's a black 2015 Honda Civic 4-door. Brake for 27 by number.
East 971, 7 Mary, King X-ray 160, black 2015 Honda Civic 4-door, and then go ahead with the 27.
We're still eastbound on Lubec, coming up to Richion, and we'll be coming into a T intersection here at the school. And he's going to be northbound on Horley. That's going to be Horley, northbound from Lubec. About 35 miles an hour, no traffic. Air 7.
701. Can you show me out at Navarro Towing? I'll be 11 out of copy.
Stop sign at Suva. There is traffic in the intersection. We'll give you a direction here. Looks like he's set up kind of for eastbound on Suva, but he's holding at the red light.
10-4, 135, George 1.
Again, I'm sorry, it wasn't a red light, it was a stop sign. He's going to be through the stop sign to go eastbound on Suva from Horley. Speeds are still about 35 or so, 30, 35. Traffic here is light and coming out to Tweedy Lane again. Air 7.
10-4, 135, George 1. Any update for the watch commander? Any other unit 92017 for the article? Any update?
Break. SEC 5 George 1. We are 92017 still. It's swamp-like conditions down here. About 30 feet to search. Unable to locate now.
10-4, copied on the path.
7 suspect just went into opposing lanes of traffic, and he's now northbound on Paramount from Suva. And he's got some traffic ahead of him, but the traffic just caught a fresh green. So we'll give you direction here coming out to Gallatin Road. Air 7.
Robert 30, copy at 1097, northbound 605 to South River 5.
And all units, special attention to Arrow.
5, and we're going to be under the 5, number 1 lane. Speeds have picked up a little here. We're about 40, 45. Traffic here is moderate, and he's holding the number 1 lane, slowing as we come into Telegraph.
10 for all units, 1022, all involvement per the watch commander. Once again, 1022, all involvement per the watch commander. Including Arrow, Patch Police, channels clear at 1323. Once again, 1022. And Arrow, if you could please switch to Lakewood Deltec for 132 times 2. And once again,
Reconstruction area in the dirt.
Time.
And I'm landing with the tow now.
Nothing showing at that speed.
Thank you, roll 8661, thank you, bro.
Just keep it going.
Contact Jessica.
In traffic. The reality is that even if there were black and whites behind him, they might be following him. But the helicopter is going to obviously be able to go better wherever this car goes. Looks like he's kind of being forced off onto the off ramp out here. So we'll get that off ramp here in just a moment. The machine will catch up and we'll get that off ramp. Or are we doing a transition? I'm taking a look out the window. No, he's just staying. He's just staying on the 605 and now transitioning onto the 5.
All right. So.
And a lot more.
Go ahead, Bob.
No, I was just saying, Marla, a lot more showboating. You almost see that perhaps the passenger doing some live video or video inside the car. So they're certainly almost enjoying this. Sadly, you know, you can only hope and pray that no one gets hurt in any of this because of such dangerous driving, Stu.
Definitely dangerous driving, and injury is always my biggest concern. Looks like we're going to be we're on the transition, but we're taking an off ramp right here. It looks like we're going to be getting off on Torrance. Again, kind of stuck. You know, there you go. The big rigs can't really get through, but there is no excuse me, there is no black and white behind him right there. The passenger looks like he's going to jump out. Looks like he. I don't know what's going on there. You see a lot of activity, and I thought maybe he was trying to take off his seatbelt. Don't know why he's so agitated. Right now, there you go. In this case, the deputies the opportunity to take this guy into custody. Right now, jumping into somebody else's vehicle. A little discussion going on, probably where we're going to meet later on, or not. Here we go. Doors open, but there seems to be some discussion going on. There we go. Kind of looking around. Am I going to go? Am I there? That's a friend right there driving. Just gonna kind of just take off with you right there. And it looks like if we go a little wider, there might be a black and white behind him there because it looks like they were going to jump out and then they changed their mind, possibly because the light changed. Who knows? I'm going to kind of give up trying to guess what these guys are doing down there. But that was interesting. Both the driver and the passenger out of the car there for a second, making some sort of decision. Obviously, their decision was indecision. And here we go with the pursuit continuing on. But again, stuck and going against traffic to basically run that left turn right here. And there you go, right again, against traffic, making another left turn. Very dangerous stuff.
Okay, on to Florence Avenue here. And that was really just a bizarre moment there where it was almost like he was surveying.
There's a little bit of hand
Right.
So they're making the best decision they can based on everything that they have seen over the past hour, 2 hours as they're following this vehicle. In fact, we're going to show the video from earlier. This is when they were on Studebaker, trapped between traffic, and we get a better look at the passenger as the passenger got out of the vehicle. You can see their demeanor. They appear to be agitated inside. So the driver at one point, you see the windshield wipers go on during that pursuit, and then here you go. You're going to see the driver now. Look how agitated that passenger is, holding a cell phone at the time, but looks like they're having some, I call it a spirited conversation. Perhaps they're arguing about something. Maybe he's saying, back up, let's get out of here. At some point, you can see them all just boxed in on Studebaker, and there's the passenger getting out, very spirited, and he's going to kind of go out.
Hit him.
He just hit him.
Wow. Yeah, he just bumped into that
What's
little
going on?
red
Where is
car
this, Stu?
We're on Paramount Boulevard. I don't have the cross right now, but he just kind of, that red car, he made contact. He bumped him. So So that vehicle right there, you know, that driver's probably like, hey, what are you doing? You just hit me, buddy. And but that's the first time we've seen him at least swap paint on a vehicle. So that was a nudge, and it was the same thing. It was like what we've been saying. He just wants to keep this thing moving. He got stuck in a spot and he could not get out of, so he was trying to squeeze through and he bumped into that car. Not major damage, but definitely, if it was my car, I'd be pretty miffed about what's going on. But it shows you this mentality is continuing, and clearly there is no law enforcement around at all. There just happened to be a black and white.
LAG 2110, have a good day.
But again, that's probably one of those guys going back to
21, copy your
patrol,
1010, have a
to
good day.
whatever he or she has to do today, and staying away from this chase. But it just shows you that this person doesn't have any regard. Law enforcement behind him, law enforcement not behind him. This person on a mission, and hopefully nobody gets hurt between here and wherever this vehicle wants to stop at.
So now that Stu, law enforcement has backed off of this pursuit. What's next?
Well, that's a tough one. If he gets out of the, they get out of this area, out of the jurisdiction, there's a possibility a neighboring jurisdiction might pick it up. Like earlier on, or we saw that one Southgate, I believe it was Southgate PD. It looked like that they wanted to get involved, but it wasn't their handle.
81521 looks like she's 97 with this. The breeze in number 2 lanes. It should start a break just north of the 10, north of 57, just north of.
They might have that same attitude. They might say, you know what, we just don't want the liability. This person is, there hasn't been any violent crime committed. So meaning that, if these suspects, that might be one of the reasons why they pursued so vigorously earlier on. But if that warrant isn't something that's, dangerous, as in armed or hurting somebody, they might just say, you know what, it's just a traffic violation or it's just a bench warrant. Just let this guy go. And that is kind of
Amazing Four, we have all traffic stop, westbound 91 at 605. Setting up a pothole in the HOV lane.
They don't want to see anybody hurt. And that's basically what we're seeing. This is the result right here. This vehicle continuing to drive on, being a little bit aggressive, bumped into that one car. But right now, there's for no reason whatsoever. We have eyes on him, and I would hope that some law enforcement might be watching our channel. But at any rate, I know they're watching our channel. But at any rate, that's where it is. We're just going to follow this car. We're going to keep an eye on it. Hopefully, he doesn't injure anybody.
Yeah, so far we've seen that hit and run, and if you look at the situation now, the car's even the driver's not obeying the red lights there, but driving 30 miles per hour, under 40 miles per hour, so kind of just meandering his way now on East Florence Avenue. And we talked about the driver 90 miles per hour on the freeway. I can tell you, having driven on the freeway recently during this pandemic, everybody's going crazy on the freeway as it is, 90+ miles per hour. So that's not really that unusual, in my opinion. They're just going to have to weigh, whether this is dangerous. What's more dangerous, to pursue someone who's agitated or more agitated, or just let it go and look at it from afar.
Definitely.
Right now.
I know why you're usually reporting from home, because you're on the freeway doing 90
Southbound 5, south of Crown Valley for 344 with a paper plate, high speed another lane. 2313 southbound 5, south of Crown Valley is the gray Ford Explorer, paper plate, and another lane at high speed. Send it to W5852, W5273,
law enforcement also has to weigh the fact that there's resources. That means all these vehicles, all these deputies that are following, chasing, right behind, doing all this, they are not doing what they should be doing, meaning there are patrols, there are probably calls coming in and not being handled. So that's another reason why the watch commander will basically pull the plug on one of these chases. The helicopter, if there is a dangerous situation, that helicopter would leave this as well. Right now, making a wide U-turn right there. It looks like he might be trying to pick a spot. It definitely looks like maybe looking for that hideous parking garage. We've seen so many of those. That's not nice. Right there, that's not nice. Right there, the guy is like, really, dude? So at any rate, still running red lights, cut off a pedestrian there. At least he was driving slowly. At least he apologized. I think I hope that was an apology right there. But at any rate, we're going to keep an eye on this car, and that driver clearly agitated. At least he's not running this red light. Probably a lot of traffic out there, but you can see the driver, you know, moving around. Just, you know, it's like, just park the car and jump out. Just get everybody safe. And what's the point of that? You should have just ran the red light. Anyways, here we go again, making that that right and then crossing the lanes and another right. And this car continues to run. He's not running from any law enforcement right now, but definitely driving very dangerously out here in the Southgate, East Los Angeles area.
So we know at least 2 male suspects, and we can determine that they're male. We've got a good shot of the driver, and then we do want to cue up the moment where we continue to watch this pursuit when the passenger gets out of the car and looks around, and almost as if he's going to run. And he's definitely doing some of his own surveillance. The driver's side door opens for a moment, gets back in, and then this is when they make their little needle through and the green light, so they were able to get away. And then just a few moments ago, Stu, up and over, you saw when approaching this intersection crowded, and behind this red...
It's 2 o'clock, higher 7.
It's like that. Little bump right there,
on the 23 and another one. North of Euclid for a white Jaguar SUV unknown plate at high speed. 23 North of 5 North of Euclid is a white Jaguar
information right now that the original law on that vehicle is traffic violations, meaning you know, this person, you know, if it was you know, like we said, something wrong with a tail light or a headlight or something like that, but it's just traffic violations, and that's another one of the reasons why they, you know, law enforcement is just going to give it up. You know, they're not going to risk injury to a deputy or injury to even one of those suspects for just a traffic violation. But this car continued to drive very erratically out here. This is where we start playing the public service announcement, you know, saying, hey, if you're in this area, if you know somebody that's in this area, get a hold of them, call them, use their hands-free device in the car. Just kind of let people know that this is going on, just to try to, you know, just give somebody the heads up. You know, like you saw that pedestrian get cut off, the car was rolling a little slower, but it could have been something entirely different. And that's what everybody wants to avoid. And right now, it just continues to drive erratically. We keep an eye on it out here. And again, with the left turn and against traffic, and we just keep an eye on it and just see where this ends up.
1039 to Station 91. They said they are working on fire at Williams
on Clara Street in the Southgate area, driving erratically, as you say, Stu, going against traffic or crossing red lights and the like, but still driving at a really rather slow or normal pace. 40 miles per hour, under 40 miles per hour. I did find it interesting, as you said, as they stopped and the pedestrian was crossing the road there. If you took a closer look, it looked like he had a little bit of a conversation with the saying, "I'm sorry," a couple of times. And the pedestrian, of course, did not acknowledge, just like an Angelino, you know, getting in my crosswalk. But they had an interaction, and it looked like he apologized. So in some ways, perhaps his
demeanor going to push behind 11 and 5.
Hopefully, rationality is going to come into all this at one point or another, and he's going to. Hopefully, he's down there watching us on this Fox app right now.
What? Now he's telling me it's down
realizing there is nobody following or chasing them, and when I say that, I mean the passenger. So maybe he's going to realize that there is nobody following him right now, so they can just kind of park them.
375 is going to go below you. Okay, I have you, sir. We're going to push to the west here. 7's going to be at your left door.
At least,
okay, looking.
What is that all about?
Are they trying to
perhaps suspects were trying to unload?
Yeah, it looks like they were going to carjack and
get into another car, but that is not the case. Suspects still got out, went to a white pickup truck, and then that white pickup truck was locked, got back into this, we believe it's a Honda Accord. Again, there's nobody chasing them right now. All law enforcement have pulled off, and the suspects still are driving in a very erratic way. We don't know the circumstances. They may already know who the suspects are, but at some point a decision was made. Too dangerous, no more pursuit. Back to you.
Possibly to park, and we'll keep an eye on it. But it looks like these two almost joined at the hip. They don't want to seem to separate. They're sticking it out together. So we'll keep an eye on it. And again,
probably
really
trying to squeeze through those cars, right?
I really kind of wonder what law enforcement might think about a maneuver like that.
Yeah, that was really bizarre. From
it's 2 o'clock, 7 and higher.
That was a pretty good opportunity for them to
take off on foot and be on their way. But then, you know, it's interesting that they picked that particular corner, that particular parking lot, and they happened to see that truck.
Is it still working for you?
Maybe it was going to be available for them to take.
Yeah, and if it was, that's another that just makes it more unusual. It shows you that the IQs that are going on right here, if they're going to swap vehicles where everybody's watching, and at this point there's nobody chasing them, and even if there was a law enforcement helicopter, they would know that they swapped vehicles. So it just gets more and more.
I mean, they may be running out of gas. They were doing 100 on the freeway earlier.
That driver, window down, looking back and forth, and it just continues on again. Hopefully, he'll find another little spot.
It looked like Kono's truck.
Try to take another vehicle, and like you said, just get out and run, and hopefully the law enforcement will show up. The deputies in this area will just show up and lock it down, and then take these two guys into custody.
Well, let's show
pushing north for I have you like 6 o'clock.
The pedestrian that was just a couple of minutes ago. Yep, the pedestrian, of course, had the right-of-way, and here comes the suspect. And then there's this exchange. You can see the driver here, motioning to the pedestrian, unknown of what that exchange entailed. But he was stuck at this point in time because of all the traffic going by, so he had no other. In this moment here, this is the bizarre one.
Okay, we got you there, Len. We're going to a little pirouette here.
One of the things I was thinking here is Stu talked about being attached at the hip. They've got matching shirts, matching haircuts. I mean, they're basically, they know each other pretty well. They try to get into that vehicle. Who knows if there was anybody in that truck, I mean, at all, so maybe they thought that it was a truck that was abandoned, that they could get out. The other thing I was thinking is maybe from the Upland area. That is far. Maybe this is a car that's running out, and they need to figure out how to get out of here now, or it's going to end
through the
now taking Live Oak Street, and they continue on.
Got it.
That's right.
U-turn.
Bob, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm kind of heading towards the 43 area, kind of some old areas that I had circled before, stuff like that, but I'm kind of heading towards the barn.
One of the reasons why, maybe he is really starting to think, I'm going to need some gas. But at any rate, if that's the case, then...
Good luck out there. It'll be a waiting game for you.
That's right. Looks.
Probably this afternoon.
Yeah, we've seen this before. The suspect got out of the vehicle earlier at a gas station, went behind the gas station, checked to see if a car was open. We've seen lots of commotion coming from the inside of this vehicle, lots of signs, and now looks like somebody
Police 100 is
drove up and
eastbound along the 210 at 2000.
You guys just saw that. So again, no law enforcement here. This pursuit's been over for a little bit, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. They even pulled the air units off. So they must know where or who these people are, and they decided it was just too dangerous to keep going. But earlier we saw the suspect get out of the vehicle, try and get into a pickup truck, and just now suspect got out of this car. You just saw it, tried to get into a car, and somebody ran up with a bag, handed it back in. Earlier today, when this was a pursuit. Officers had gone into surveillance mode because it was so dangerous. Out of upland, started with the want of equipment failure, then reckless driving, and again, lots of animation coming from inside this vehicle. We believe it's 2 male suspects inside. Earlier in Lakewood, it sounded like from what we heard from law enforcement, they got into an alleyway, tossed a bag that perhaps had a weapon, and then continued on in surveillance mode. And then at some point near the 5 freeway and Telegraph Road, the suspect just continued on. Law enforcement went away, and they were still driving very erratically. So now that's twice since we've been overhead that we've seen the suspect try and get out into another vehicle. At this point, the continuation of this personal pursuit, there is no law enforcement overhead, there is no law enforcement behind, but these guys still trying to get into other cars and continue whatever is going on, and we just don't know what that is right now. So with that, we're going to stay overhead. We will continue to monitor the situation, but for now, back to you in Hollywood.
The deputy knew that this was the suspect from earlier on, but just kept on driving, didn't even slow down. I definitely have an ear on the radio trying to find out if they're watching and maybe perhaps going to re-engage.
Good reminder to lock your vehicle.
Maybe perhaps they these guys are, and they're just going to pick them up at a later date.
Well, that's a good point. For those people who are just joining us, perhaps this is a pursuit that started in Upland.
Copy.
Of course, it was being tracked by CHP, and then the Sheriff's Department picked it up, so multi-agency pursuit here. But then they decided to back off probably about 10, 15 minutes ago, simply because of the danger it posed to the public. So that was a conscious decision by law enforcement. We've been tracking it.
Still blowing red lights?
And since that, that's when, in fact,
because there was a guy, that silver SUV was trying to make a left turn.
We can only suspect that they were trying to carjack 2 other vehicles to leave this one behind. That didn't pan out. So the question is if law enforcement will jump on this pursuit again to try and get this guy, and 2 guys, in fact, into custody.
You know, it's one of those ones, if the driving gets more erratic, if they actually get into an altercation with a pedestrian or some civilian, law enforcement, basically it's going to really push their hand. They're going to have to make their way back out here. I don't want to see items happen.
Is it something we can fly to?
Right now, though, I'm sure they're at the station. Somebody's at the station keeping an eye on this, watching. At least we have the extreme mapping going on, so they know exactly where this vehicle is. But at this point, we haven't heard them call or ask or tell any of the units to re-engage or try to find this car, even though we've seen now.
7 Charlie Delta, Capitol Building, 1,300 feet,
it shows you that they're trying to do something. And you know, if they're even if they just steal another vehicle, it's going to be one of those things where that's another crime. That's a different crime than just evading. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it, and hopefully maybe we can get law enforcement to call in and maybe give a point of view, real time, what they're thinking right now.
And one of the other bizarre moments that one of our viewers just pointed out to me was that package exchange when the guy came and gave him the bag full of who knows what. And it's okay. So now are you an accomplice involved in this pursuit?
But definitely an accomplice if he's going to get arrested or taken into custody. That's probably not very likely, but definitely an accomplice. You're helping you're helping commit a crime, even though right now the law enforcement is basically just kind of letting this one go. But still, they basically gave this person something. If it was food, money, drugs, who knows? But definitely handed off a package right there to those people that are inside that vehicle, and it had to be planned. That definitely was an act of kindness.
We're in Southgate on Firestone westbound, just crossed right over the 710 freeway. And again, before we went to break, we saw the suspect get out of the vehicle again and tried to get into what was a locked vehicle. Good reminder to everybody watching that you should keep your car locked when you're not in it. But and then something very unusual, the suspect was approached by somebody else, and somebody threw a bag or walked in with a bag. Suspect took that bag and now continues on into this Southgate area. Again, stuck in traffic, nowhere to go, but there's no officers behind. As a reminder for anybody that might just be joining us, it all started in Upland, California with what we believe to be a broken tail light. CHP got in, tried to pull the vehicle over, and that's when the vehicle took off. It became a very high-speed and dangerous pursuit on Southland freeways, ending up in Lakewood. That's where the call was made to go into surveillance mode only. But look at that, trying to wedge through cars, front-end damage. I mean, seriously, there's nobody chasing, and he just blows through. Can you imagine how frightening that might be? And now the suspect is out of the vehicle, throwing arms out of the window of this car. So just a really just unusual situation. No pursuit going on at all, but the suspect still crashing into vehicles, stuck in traffic, seems to be agitated, and again, just a very tough situation right now. Not getting out of the car. We see a lot of this. We see the arms flailing. We see a lot of activity coming. There are 2 people inside that car, we believe, 2 males. Earlier at a gas station, they got out, tried to get into another locked vehicle. Didn't happen. And again, now as we continue westbound, this car just blew through an intersection, hit 2 other cars. The question mark now, why is law enforcement not here? They must know who these suspects are, and they might be waiting for them wherever their destination might be. But again, still causing damage here on Southland streets. You just saw it a moment ago, trying to squeeze through a couple of cars here on Firestone. And again, anytime we've seen the suspect come to a red light, blows right through it. Just a moment ago, we saw pedestrians in an intersection, and the suspect went right through. So certainly law enforcement is probably watching this, and they know that this is going on, but they've made a decision. Here's another red light, suspect's blowing right through this red light, right turn, and now going back northbound. So this is going to be Mason, Manicure, northbound, the suspect on Atlantic. So now still in Southgate, right on the border here of Southgate, northbound now. And again, lots of animation coming from inside the car. And again, it started as a reckless driving. That before that was equipment failure. We believe that would be the tail light out. But still a very dangerous situation with 2 people that are extremely agitated here on Southland freeways and roadways, northbound Atlantic in Cudahy. And again, Sky 5 not the only helicopter overhead right now, but there are several. There were dozens of law enforcement involved. We have not seen them lately. We have not seen them even in the area, even when the suspects stop, get out of the vehicle, check to see if other vehicles are unlocked, and they have not been. But a very unusual turn of events just now when somebody approached the vehicle, handed the bag to the driver. Driver took off and still smashing through intersections and trying to evade. We don't know who, because nobody is chasing these suspects.
Gets back into his vehicle, and before he takes off again, you're going to see somebody come up and hand him a bag. So watch this.
7's pushing north, former fallen trilogy.
Obviously, someone he knows. This had to have been planned. And now into this bumper shot where he gets stuck into some traffic and then says, you know what, I'm not going to wait, and needles his way through. And in the meantime, you're going to see
copied 108 en route.
At least 2, I should say, hit and runs we've seen. We saw the stranger, the other person come out and give him a bag. We don't know what that is all about. At least 2 male suspects inside this black sedan on currently near Santa Ana Street. Last check,
not a single badge in sight here. We don't see like you said, how terrifying it must be for somebody driving in a minivan and sitting in traffic at a red light, and then all of a sudden this car out of nowhere these two guys yelling, arms up in the air, and then smashing, ripping the front bumper off of a minivan. Must be terrifying. And again, it continues this trek. I was just talking to Rich Prickett, who's shooting great video for us here in Sky 5 right now. How long can these people go? They've got a full tank of gas.
We've been southbound to the Cuenca Pass, 1,700. I do have time to go westbound.
Going now here as we make our way northbound Wilcox in the city of Cudahy. I just saw law enforcement, but again, it looked like just routine patrol about a block away, not making any move toward this suspect at all. So, like you said earlier, just one of the more unusual things that we've seen. Just when we think we've seen it all, something like this comes along, and these guys still driving around and don't know if they're familiar or not. It appeared, like you said, very confident. That person walked up, handed the driver a bag, and the driver kept going. Occasionally we'll see them stop, get out, check other vehicles to see if they're unlocked. And again, the chase continues, but there's nobody chasing.
5 o'clock.
4, 5,
Number 3, we're going to be taking up the number 2 lane. And I'm Sigler for half hour, so 7 0.
Reaching out saying it looked like he did drop something off.
Turn permission, and assist.
So it's 212, you're going to turn permission and assist with the 1135.
During this pursuit.
Well, it was
absolutely. In fact, even before we got here, we were being told that the suspect had pulled into an alleyway. They tossed a bag that appeared to be maybe a weapon, according to law enforcement. But again, right now, the suspect has turned into off of Florence in the city of Bell now. Again, all these little cities all come together right here, just off the 710 freeway. But this car now pulled into a parking lot, and imagine, you're just
around the south.
Exactly. And unfortunately, there are people there that have no idea what's going on. So it's a Smart and Final parking lot right now. There's a gas station, and you can see the suspect kind of cruising into this parking lot right now. Ordinarily we'd see lots and lots of law enforcement in this situation, but again, we just don't see it right now. I can tell you that they are nearby, but nothing visible to the suspect at this point. But now driving through that parking lot, maybe they were just checking to see if there was a black and white involved. But we've seen the suspects acting very erratically inside that car, now making the right turn out of that parking lot on Florence near Wilcox in the city of Bell. And the suspect now moving into the left-hand turn lane. There are vehicles coming the other way, but just a few moments ago we saw that when there was the suspect was stopped by traffic, he blazed right through, taking out the front bumper of a minivan and hitting another car. Must have been terrifying for those people that were on the roadway. But look at how animated the driver is right now. And we've seen lots of signs, lots of signals coming out of the car. Now a U-turn going back eastbound now on Florence, headed back toward the 710. And again, no law enforcement in sight as the chase continues out of Upland, into Lakewood, and now here in the city of Bell, headed toward the 710.
And hopefully the vehicle gets disabled. Maybe he'll lose a tire or something, and he'll bring this thing to a slow end. But definitely
right door low.
Making gestures to somebody. Let's see if he's going to go back to that person, or perhaps just making a U-turn to just to keep this pursuit moving.
So here we are, East Florence Avenue, still the Southgate area, right near East Los Angeles, and speeds at a minimum right now in the 20s, 30s. So this is okay. But we've seen so many things that everyone's screaming for. Where are law enforcement officers? Because as you said, they backed up because it was okay, equipment violation, and then they look to see that they've only had some traffic violations. We will weigh the public safety and back off. But then, since then, we've seen him damage at least 2 vehicles, we can suspect he was trying to steal at least 2 other vehicles live on the air. So this is certainly
more black and whites.
Right. Okay.
No,
all right, so we do have... No, that's okay, Stu. We're going to re-rack, actually, the moment, the first time that he tried to get into...
7, I'm going northbound, 11, I have you.
Parking lot. We're going to zoom in.
Park, button of pass.
Copy.
83 Rapid 3, go ahead.
Does one of them drop off something underneath? It's so
584 is at your flags, 12.
Well, it's because he's back on the freeway.
Get over to the number 5 lane.
And that 4 or 5 is going to go behind you.
Probably Bell Gardens, right?
Thanks.
Or City of Bell.
83 Rapid 3,
Thank you.
copy the
Well, they're not going to let
vehicle
somebody
is
go
moved to
into
the number 5
a
lane.
parking lot and carjack somebody.
We're just making it looks like we're making our way back onto
And
the
4 or 5 is
710
going to go
freeway
behind
right
you.
here
I've got you in
from
sight.
Florence. So I don't know if he's just.
Thank
gonna
you.
Number 3, we're just at the top of the on-ramp for Bellflower onto eastbound. Let FSC know they can access from there.
It's ridiculous.
I was hopeful they would get involved. They seem to be a little bit more
What happened?
progressive with their pursuit.
Oh, copy that.
Hey, Robert 3, copy. You're right at the bottom of the Bellflower onto the eastbound 91.
Northbound 710 freeway. Northbound 710 freeway. We just passed Atlantic in the city of Commerce. There is a black and white behind the suspect right now, and we're not sure what department it's from. It's not sure it could be. Looks like one of the local perhaps City of Bell. But or maybe Commerce PD. But earlier we saw the suspect get out of the vehicle, hit a couple of other cars as well. So one of these police agencies made the decision. CHP may have called it off, sheriffs may have called it off, but we are not going to let this happen in our city. And they are now back in pursuit northbound 710 freeway. Lots of traffic ahead as we approach the 5 freeway. So we'll see what happens. Earlier the suspect was driving on the right side of the roadway on the shoulder, and that's what we see. You can see we'll try and get in there. And it is Bell Gardens PD. Again, in the city of Bell earlier, we saw the suspect drive into a parking lot and perhaps try and take another vehicle, and the vehicles were locked. But that may have been what prompted Bell Gardens PD to get in behind and try and chase the suspect. And if perhaps they get out and take the suspect into custody. We can tell you that there are 2 people at least inside that car. We've seen them very, very agitated, animated inside the car, throwing their arms around as we continue now northbound on the 710 freeway. Atlantic Bandini is the nearest cross street, and as I said just a moment ago, a lot of traffic here. Driving into Gore Point, all across lanes there, or looked like they were making a move to get across the roadway. But again, the police department from Bell Gardens, they've just pulled off. So again, a situation where the suspect was being pursued once again, and now no pursuit at all. Just the suspect driving without any police presence behind him northbound on that 710 freeway.
Still are getting off at Atlantic. There's something else. No, we're not. We're staying on the 710. This is one of those ones also where you have to kind of weigh this all out. There you go. You got the guy outside the window there. And so we're going to keep an eye on
Holy moly, look at this, Rich.
Just on some sort of Facebook Live.
Yeah, in fact, we are going to leave it right here as
look out your door.
The 2 o'clock hour. We've been with this pursuit since about 12:40, so more than an hour. And you can pick it up, though, as Stu just mentioned,
Caution,
on
wake
our
turbulence
website, foxla.com. We will be streaming it live, and also on our Facebook page.
Welcome to LA.
Download the Fox 11 app. Just turn on the breaking news push alerts. Thank you so much for watching this extended.
2-10-10, have a good day.
10-10, have a good day. 11331, go ahead. The office. Santa Ana is going to be en route to shut down their side, and then if you can just respond to Santiago and Cook to shut down our side.
I made that right turn. I was like, uh-oh.
1203, 10-10.
1203, check that out for 1.
That is indeed wake turbulence that you just felt. Yeah. 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. No, he got off the freeway.
But in what she does. Doesn't know, I'll bet she knows where to find it.
And I'm looking forward to hearing that, what she has to say, and she's patiently standing by for you, Philip. But we are watching this pursuit that's been happening for about an hour in the city of Commerce. And Philip, this guy's been.
Welcome back. We continue to do coverage, and you might be tuning in because you want to see the director of the LA County Department of Health Services, Dr. People left in his wake that might not be injured, but financially they are at risk.
Thank you. That's very
Even
sweet.
though that was sneak.
Hey, 129, you can hear a follow-up. Henry 3, Robert 3, copy, roadway is clear, cancel flag alert. Extension, have a great day.
Curious on how this thing's going to end, but at any rate, sooner or later we're going to have to go get fuel. So we're going to keep an eye on everything, and can't join you guys. I'm sorry. I really want to read the comments and help you guys out and try to answer some of your questions, but at this rate we are just watching this chase. 2 suspects started out in the Upland area, Upland PD, then California Highway Patrol, then the Sheriff's Department. What do we got? About another 20, Angela, for fuel? What do we got for
44 systems, okay.
Okay. As long as we're heading towards an airport or near an airport, we're gonna say about 40 more minutes. 40 more minutes in the air. Oh.
One burst, and I'm going to be right to the heart.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I wish I could join everybody on Facebook. I don't. My phone is. It says 3G, but you know.
33-600, copy. You'll be attending with no M-bars en route to the hard closure westbound 60 across road.
You want to hand it to me for a little bit, Vinny? All right, so sheriffs are here. I'm hearing the sheriffs giving directions on where the car is. So they're staying out of it, but they're in the area. So, well, that's good. But is it Southgate?
Well, there needs to be a SIG alert.
It's probably Southgate. I'm hearing him on their mutual aid. But that's probably him trying to. Well, he's going to run out of 710 here in a little bit, and then what are you going to do? And there's traffic. Oh, let's please don't crash into more people. I'm just afraid this guy's armed. He was posturing a couple of times when he got out of the vehicle. Yeah. You know, and or if he has a weapon, it could be ugly the other way. So. Oh, Fox News. Facebook. Well, Facebook Live, we're good. CHP's taking it over. So CHP's taking it back over. Hang on one second, Greg. Are they going to use our audio on FoxNet, or are they just taking our picture? So California Highway Patrol might be joining this chase one more time. If you, I know that we're on FoxNet, and also a lot of the Facebook folks are not local. 710, we run out of 710. Basically getting into the San Gabriel Valley area. So he's making his way. He's going to, there you go, there's no more freeway. But we've watched this in the past. When he gets into some traffic, he just kind of pushes his way through. He does not like to come to a stop. Very agitated. Thank goodness there was no traffic right there making that turn. We're on the Valley Boulevard right now. And my guess is that's exactly what I thought he was going to do. He's going to take the 710 southbound. Now, I heard that there might be a California Highway Patrol vehicle behind it. I have yet to see that vehicle. But this chase continues. 2 suspects inside that vehicle started far away. I would guess at this location in a town called Upland. They were wanted to pull him over for traffic warrants or violations. With that. And my assignment desk giving me information so we can play along in the helicopter. When I say play along, meaning we can listen to the law enforcement. So I'm going to find this, and we're going to keep on listening. But the chase continues, and California Highway Patrol definitely involved in this chase. The sheriff's helicopter, but yeah, CHP, I think I'm hearing them on yellow right now. So, right, yeah. When you hit that vehicle, that changed everything. Well, it's a Honda. Thank you, Angela. So speeding up a little bit there. We're watching the car. I'm surprised he hasn't had a flat tire so far, not because those tires are no good, but because he has run into a lot of things, driven over curbs, drove off the road a couple times, a couple sidewalks here and there. So it's amazing that he hasn't bent a rim or lost a wheel in this little chase that we've been following here all afternoon. I was trying to explain that this started in the Upland area. That was part of the conversation up there. Again, this is kind of behind the scenes. It's a little less formal. If you hear me talking about things that might not sound pursued, that I'm not speaking to the voices in my head. Technically, they are in my head, but they're actually in my headset. I have the pilot, Angela, this afternoon, and then Vinnie Mac on the camera. So that's one of the reasons why I'll kind of stop and start while we're chasing this pursuit. And then also I've got radios, our assignment desk, giving information and asking for information. The chase still on the 710 freeway. I believe we just crossed, or we're coming up to the 10. And it was the 60. Okay, so we're south of the 10 already. So he was on the that was the 5, wasn't it? That was the 5. That was a 5. Really? I thought I saw 5 down there. He's continuing southbound on the 710. He kind of hangs out in the northern Long Beach, Norwalk area. He's been in Southgate, and then he's also been in East Los Angeles, so he's kind of familiar with that area, I would guess, because he made it basically a long beeline all the way from the Upland area to that location. Right now, though, just kind of continuing on out here. We're just keeping an eye on it. California Highway Patrol knows about it.
That's a firm 108.
There he is. Hang on.
And I'm unsure if I went out with the 1039. We do have a 1039 to set base with the heavy duty of 30 minutes.
It hasn't even started yet, and they're already 1022ing it. They're telling the ground units not
to. We're going to be standing by the Total Wine back parking lot near the delivery door. See a black